Today, we are going to rank every Pixar villain ever. This is how we're gonna rank. Starting off with Elite, these are the biggest baddies of all time, the best of the best. They are gonna go at the top. Then we have the very good, which means and then we have bad, which is people that I really don't care about. The first one on the list is going to be Syndrome. All right, now Syndrome, that is the villain when you think of Pixar villains, right? You know, and honestly, I would classify it as one of the best Disney villains of all time. And for that reason, boom, 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 Elite. I mean, let's be honest, like, we probably all agree on this one. Chick Hicks. Now, to be honest with you, I never classified this man as a villain, all right? Man, car. But then I thought about it for a second and why he is on this list, and it makes a whole lot of sense. He literally tried to wreck cars to win. That's essentially trying to kill cars. Like, so for that reason, I think he's up there. He's the rival of the prime character of the franchise. Is he elite though, right? Like, that's something that I'm trying to figure out. Is he elite? I don't think so. I think if anything, he's good. I don't even think he belongs in very good. I'm gonna throw him up in good. Otto from WALL-E. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of biased because WALL-E is one of my favorite movies of all time. Otto is also didn't want humanity to come back. I mean, he's wiping out all of humanity and preventing them from repopulating and coming back to Earth. So I think he's very good. I don't know if I would put him as elite, because again, when I think of like Pixar villains, it's not the first one that comes to mind. So I'm gonna put Otto as very good, because I think just from a villain standpoint, you do realize like he is one of the best of Pixar, but he's no Syndrome. Hopper from A Bug's Life. Hopper is one of the OG villains, and he is very, very thought of when you think of Pixar villains, right? He tried to wipe out all the ants. He takes control of like their colony and stuff. I think for that reason, I almost want to throw him in elite. Like, that's kind of like, he's an elite villain. Like, but does he belong in very good? Like, is he better than Otto? That is what we have to decide here, and I believe so. So I'm gonna throw Hopper up in elite. I'm probably gonna get flamed for that one. Moving on to Ernesto de la Cruz. First off, one of the best names of Pixar villain history, okay? One of the best names ever in history. So for that reason, he's got to be up there. He also, you know, from a villain standpoint, turned on his best friend to continue doing what he was doing and being famous for. And yeah, and plus, like, he's one of the Disney Pixar villains that is like shown at the parks like during Halloween time. So me personally, I'm gonna throw him up in elite. I really like this guy a lot. I don't know, I'm also very biased towards Coco, because Coco is one of my favorite Pixar movies. So yeah, he's elite. Sorry, that's where I put him. Deal with it. The Underminer. Now, I don't know why this one is actually classified as a prime Pixar villain, but apparently it is. Yeah, he shows up in 2 movies, but he's also a side villain in those movies. He's not even the main villain. So for that, I'm gonna put him down at I don't think he's necessarily bad, because he is essential to moving the plot forward for The Incredibles, but from a villain standpoint, he's one of the worst ones on this list. Mr. Water Noose from Monsters, Inc. All right, so technically in Monsters, Inc., we had 2 bad guys, and we'll get to the other villain in a sec. Water Noose is the main one, and he's the one in charge, right? I don't want to put him in elite, because I don't think he's one of the elites, because really he had other people do his dirty work for him until the end. So I'm just gonna throw him in good, because I think he's a memorable villain. Gabby from Toy Story 4. Now let me tell you this. Her as a villain, not very scary. But those dummies? Creepy as crap. I don't know. I wasn't very into her as a villain. Like, honestly, I think other Toy Story villains were way better. So I'm going to throw her in the I don't think she was bad because of her backstory and because of her henchmen. That's why I'm putting her in Chef Skinny from Ratatouille. Okay. Definitely very memorable. Honestly, probably one of the best if you ask a lot of people. I don't know. To me, like, I feel like there's better villains out there in the Pixar universe than Chef Skinny, but I think he's memorable for what he is. So I'm gonna throw him in good. Again, I don't think he's essentially very good. I think Otto's still a better villain than him. Randall from Monsters Inc. Now, this one is the one I essentially was thinking of as the big baddie of Monsters Inc. I know people will argue and say Water News because he's the boss, but come on, let's be honest. Randall was the guy. So Randall, I will throw up in very good, because this one, I remember as a kid watching this and actually being a little bit creeped out by Randall's design, which is the whole point of his character, to be creepy to Boo, right? He is definitely the memorable villain of Monsters Inc. Lotso from Toy Story 3. Honestly, I've started to like this character a lot more. For a long time, I wasn't into like Lotso at all. Like, I felt like there was other Toy Story villains better than him, but going now through it all and growing up and watching Toy Story 3, first off, one of the best, or the best Toy Story in my opinion, throws him up there in elite for me. I don't know, man. I really, really like his character, and I feel like he's definitely very popular overseas. I see a lot of Lotso merch. Evelyn Deavor, I think that's how you say her name, or I forget what her alter ego was in Incredibles 2. I will say she was a good villain, okay? She was smart. She knew what she wanted to do to get rid of the supers. Like, there was definitely a good villain arc to her, but because we already had Syndrome, it makes her low for me, and I don't know why. That's literally the only reason. So, Stinky Pete. Oh man, this guy. Honestly, one of my most hated villains of all time. Like, I actually hate this guy to the core, and I think that's also why I have to rank him high. I just don't like him. I hate him. I hate him so much. I don't know. I feel like Lotso is still a better Toy Story villain, so for that reason, I'm gonna throw Stinky Pete in very good, because man, I kind of want to throw him in elite, because he's elite, right? He has to be elite, bro. I hate this guy so much. I'll just throw him in elite. Why not? Miles Axelrod from Cars 2. He was literally the villain of this like spy movie, but I hate this movie. I absolutely hate it. And for that reason, he's going in bad, because I hate Cars 2. Zurg from Toy Story 2, aka Darth Vader. Technically, if we rank him from Lightyear, he becomes more of a villain. Toy Story 2, he's just like a little side toy villain. We don't even get like an arc, but he's so iconic, right? He's so iconic, especially if you watch the Buzz Lightyear like animated movie. So good. Like, Zurg is the guy. He's also the villain in like the Toy Story Buzz ride at Disney World. He's got to be up there for those reasons, because he's just so recognizable. I'm gonna put him in good just because of how recognizable he is, but like from a villain standpoint, he should probably belong in bad, because he's just not there. But I'm gonna throw him in good because I like him. Jackson Storm from Cars 3. I essentially never thought of this character as a villain. Apparently he is. I had never thought he was a villain, and that's kind of why I'm gonna throw him in a lower category. Yes, he's the rival, the new upcomer for Lightning McQueen, and it helps Lightning McQueen train Cruz and all this other stuff, but let's be honest, this man wasn't a villain. He didn't wreck people like Chick Hicks, right? He wasn't cheating. He literally was just a better prepared car, all right? He was the future of car racing, and for that reason, I'm gonna throw him up in bad, because he's just not a villain. He's just not a villain. I'm sorry. Moving on. Sid from Toy Story. A lot of people probably rank Sid from a nostalgic point of view, right? People probably are like, oh, he's one of the elite villains. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but he's not. Obviously, Stinky Pete and Lotso were better Toy Story villains, and I have said what I have said. I'll throw Sid up a little higher, okay? Just because of what he is. But to be honest with you, he was just a kid. I'm throwing him up in there. I'm sorry. He's not bad because he is essential to the story, but I feel like he did villainous things subconsciously. Charles Muntz from Up. Now, Charles Muntz was actually bad, and it really created that meme of Carl and him fighting that everyone shares when old people argue or fight now and bicker. So for that reason, I feel like he's got to be up there. I don't think he's better than Otto or Randall, so I'm going to go ahead and throw him in good, because I feel like he's a good villain, but he's not very memorable for me. Like, he's not one of the first ones I think of when I think of Pixar villains. So yeah, he's not great, but he's all right. Mordu, I think that's how you say his name, from Brave. Again, a character, a villain that wasn't essentially needed in a story, but pretty cool if you ask me. A bear that just wants to eat everyone. For that reason alone is why I want to rank him higher, just because of that, right? I'm gonna throw him up in eh. These final two I have in here, I don't think they're even classified as Pixar villains, but I have to throw them in here as honorable mentions because I hate both of them. The first one is Darla. She's a villain to the fish. They are scared to death of her because they will die. And I would put her, is she elite? I don't know if she's elite though. I don't know if she's elite, guys. I'm going to put her in good. No, I'm going to put her in very good. I'm going to put her in very good. I think she's up there. She's very memorable. I feel like I see so many people dressing up as her for Halloween. And this one, I absolutely hate more than Stinky Pete. I hate this character because it makes me cry every time. And that is the Barracuda from Finding Nemo. I hate you. Why, Pixar? Why? This is essentially the worst villain of all time in any freaking Pixar movie ever. I hate this character. Doesn't even speak a word, and I despise it. Yeah, elite, because I absolutely hate it.